So we're going to hear from her, and then we're going to go vote, and we'll be back at about 25 minutes after that. So please go right ahead, Shushu. Welcome.
Thank you for having this important hearing. I am grateful for the invitation to be here. The women of the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo have waited a long time for American policymakers to take an interest in this situation. I thank Vital Voices Global Partnership for their commitment to empowering women around the world and for the support of the women of the Congo. Rape and sexual violence is used as a weapon and tactic of war to destroy the community. The South Kivu Women's Media Association is a voice of thousands of voiceless women. We use radio to give them the space to express what has happened to them, begin their healing, and to seek justice. We have interviewed over 400 women in South Kivu, and their stories are terrifying. In fact, the word rape fails to truly describe what is happening because it is not only rape that occurs, but atrocities also accompany the rapes. That is what makes the situation in the Eastern Congo so different and horrible. Of all the testimonies we recorded, there are two that stay in my mind that I will share with you. I met a woman who had 5 children and was raped. They took her into the forest with her 5 children and kept them there for several days. As each day passed, the rebels killed one of her children and forced her to eat her child's flesh. She begged to be killed, but they refused and said, "No, we can't give you a good death." Last month, after the joint operation between the Congolese army and the Rwandese army to break down the FDLR, in the running away, they raped more women. And our journalists were told that after they raped the women, they put fuel in their vaginas and set on fire, and then extinguished the fire. This was done not to kill them, but to let them suffer. There were many other horrible atrocities. But why? Why such atrocities? Why do they fight? Why do they fight their war on women? Why? Why do they fight on women's bodies? It's because there is a plan to put fear in the community through the woman. Because she's the heart of the community. When she's pushed down, the whole community follows. We also ask, why the silence of the developed countries? When a gorilla is killed in the mountains, there is an outcry, and people mobilize great resources to protect the animals. Yet more than 500,000 women have been raped, and there is a silence. After all this, you will make memorials and say never again. But we don't want commemorations. We want you to act now. Now, please. There are 6 actions that I request of you to help to end this situation. The first need of the women is security and peace. Rape is not peace. Rape is just like a gun to show the force of the rebel group. We ask for your involvement to station and from peacemakers, women, to protect women in the rural areas. In the Congo, we believe that the security when FDLR returned to Rwanda. When there are war broken down in Congo, it's the one alibi they use, the presence of the FDLR. That's why I ask the American government to involve politically by pressuring the Rwandan government to accept the return back and to begin dialogue with the rebels, the FDLR, so that they stop fighting the war in our country and on women's body. We need strong justice to end impunity on rape and sexual violence. We ask the U.S. to join us in pressuring the Congolese government to stop giving amnesty to rebels who use rape as their war strategy. The American and Congolese government should request international criminal courts arrest warrants for the Congolese and Rwandan rebel leaders. We also ask you to pressure the International Criminal Court to include rape and sexual violence in the charges filed against the war criminals. Finally, we ask for assistance to pursue the legal reform needed in Congo to end impunity for rape and sexual violence in war. We need zero tolerance on rape and sexual violence at all levels of the justice system. We ask that the American government and U.S. multinational corporations contribute financially to the recovery and healing of the women and communities, because your economy benefits from the minerals of the Congo. The women and families need medical and psychological services to heal from the trauma to their bodies and minds. There are also children born of rape who live as orphans because the community has rejected them and sees them as ticking bombs who will grow up to become like the rebels. These women and children are left with nothing. Another part of this recovery is to help Congo to strengthen the formal economy in the eastern provinces and end the profitability of blood minerals. We ask that you work with the U.S. multinational corporations to develop ways to ensure that Congolese minerals imported to the U.S. are conflict-free, and that the security, infrastructure and capacity of the eastern provinces is built up through this investment. Economic recovery is part of the total of the women and their communities. Lastly, I would like for the U.S. to have an increased presence in the eastern Congo. Towards that end, I invite the American government and private sector to send a delegation to the east to see the reality on the ground and explore ways to improve security and promote the formal economy. Having a presence in the east would also allow the U.S. government to have a better sense of what is happening in the area and will help the U.S. to be a better advocate for women and families. I'd like to conclude expressing our hope for the future. There are many people and organizations in the Eastern Congo working tirelessly for peace, justice, and healing. This good work can be more effective and help even more people if we have the support we are requesting. The women of Congo want to work with you and need your support to stand with dignity. We want to empower Congolese women. Women, stand with us and help us to heal our nation. Thank you for your attention.
Shushu. Shushu, I think you have to know, all of you on the panel, and we will come back and hear our remaining two speakers, that in the Senate today, the silence on this issue has ended. And in the Senate today, across party lines, we hear you very clearly. And we're going to do some things here that you're suggesting and that Eve has suggested and all of our panelists have suggested. So we'll come back and we'll hear from our last two important speakers, and then I hope you can all stay because we will have questions. So thank you much. This has probably been one of the most difficult hearings that I've ever had the privilege to chair, and I'm so ashamed of the human race sometimes when they get lost, and I did stuff in the past, and so I pledge to you that just this voice is going to be heard, and I know I speak for others on this committee and off this committee. So we'll take about a 25-minute break and we'll be back. We stand in recess.